This 2013 Dodge Avenger is filthy. Not only has it been absolutely hammered with dirt on the outside, the inside has been too. And to make matters worse, there's baby formula stains all over the seats. This car needs a serious deep cleaning, and by the time I'm done with it today, it's going to look brand new. Stay tuned for an incredible transformation. Okay, getting started on pressure washing all this dirt off the car now, and as I make the first few passes here, I was pretty happy to see that it's managing to cut through all the dirt and there doesn't appear to be any sort of film left underneath. So while that does make things a bit easier for me today, it also means it's even more satisfying watching this go from really dirty to looking perfectly clean. Now, as I keep working my way around the car, I'm sure there's a few of you out there who are wondering how a vehicle could get this dirty, especially when we're seeing weather like we are right now. The day I filmed this, it was minus 35 degrees Celsius, which is pretty typical for the middle of winter up in Canada. Only thing is that we've also had some pretty nice days lately, which means the streets have been a huge mess. Honestly, no question this car was pretty dirty, but when the roads are slush, it can easily get that dirty in just a day. Which leads into the next question of, if that's the case, why bother washing your car in the winter at all? Well, it's like anything, just because it's going to get dirty again doesn't mean you shouldn't clean it. Your teeth are going to get dirty again too, but most of us brush them daily. Plus the fact that they do use salt on the roads here, and it's always a good idea to get that cleaned off regularly over the winter, and if you get lucky and do it at the right time when there's a cold snap, you can easily keep your vehicle perfectly clean for weeks at a time. Okay, after noticing a ton of iron contamination on the paint when I was washing it, I'm going to attempt to turn the car purple with my iron remover, which you can of course find over at my website, detailgeekautocare.com. This is a product that can help remove all those tiny little rust spots on your vehicle's paint, and while this isn't something you need to do every time you wash your vehicle, I'd recommend doing it a couple times a year at least. Of course, if you have a darker colored vehicle, you probably won't see it working, but if you've got lighter paint, you'll be able to see all the purpley goodness. Moving to the engine bay now, which is really dirty, and I'll start by spraying on a liberal amount of degreaser, making sure to spray from different angles so I can get everything covered well, and then I'll follow up with a couple of different brushes to get everything loosened up before rinsing all the dirt and grime away. Now as I keep working here, if anyone out there has ever wondered whether detailing your engine bay like this is safe, well, it most definitely is, provided you're smart about it. One thing I would never do is use a pressure washer in here, because that can easily force water into places that you don't want it going. And another tip is to always disconnect the battery first, and then when you're using degreaser, you don't ever want to let it dry on a surface, as it could permanently damage it. Other than that, just be careful around electrical connections and the air intake, and you should be good to go. Okay, with a quick wipe down complete, I'll get the plastics and rubber in here dressed with some 303 aerospace protectant to really make it pop. Hard to believe you can get results like this in just 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, well, as I start on vacuuming the carpets now, I wanted to quickly remind you guys that there is a brand new video over on my other channel, The Yard Geek. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check it out after this one. This time my attention was on the peninsula, where I started the huge process of getting a foot of mulch down, but that meant I needed a massive amount of mulch to do that. I also took care of some more weeds, got some security cameras installed on the house, and then spread a ton of mulch around. Honestly, I have to say that I continue to be blown away by the support you guys have been showing the channel. I think we're coming on the day where a new Yard Geek video is going to get more views on it than a Detail Geek video, which is wild. But just goes to show that you guys are loving the videos, which is awesome because I love making them. If you haven't checked out the channel yet, please make sure you head over there after this one and show the channel some love. Now, for those observant people out there, you might have noticed some black wires strung around the interior. Well, they're for some light strips that at one point were taped to the underside of the front seats, although one has since come loose, and I actually had to move the wires out of the way a number of times already today. Slightly annoying, yes, but not really a big deal since it didn't prevent me from doing my job, which is to get this car looking as good as I possibly can. Moving back to the trunk, and for anyone wondering why I chose not to remove the front seats today, well, that was simply because, as you might have noticed a minute ago, there was really good access underneath them, so I was able to get the vacuum everywhere that I needed to. Basically, like I've said a dozen times before, I'm always going to remove the seats when they need to be removed. If I can leave them in and achieve the same results, then why make extra work for myself? Turning my attention to the seats now, where I'll start with the passenger one, and I had asked the owner's boyfriend when he dropped the car off if he knew what the stains were, and he very quickly replied that they were all from baby formula that had spilled. Pretty sure that's a first for me, although maybe I've dealt with that before since I often don't actually know what the stains are. But anyways, I'm very confident those stains will come out, but for these couple of spots that don't want to budge, I'll try some of my all-purpose cleaner on them, and if that doesn't work, then I'll let the steamer have a turn when I've got it out later on, although that's rarely the answer. Moving to the driver's side rear seat now, and so far so good. Pretty much everything has come out of these seats, and I'm expecting the same for the carpets. In my experience, Dodge and Chrysler make decent quality vehicles, and they always seem to clean up pretty well, which is definitely something that can't be said for all manufacturers. Okay, as I get started in the driver's footwell here, where the footrest area was by far the dirtiest area of carpet in the whole car, and despite my best efforts here, it's not going to look perfect. The carpet here is pretty beaten down and worn, which means that no matter how many passes I make, it's still going to look dirty simply because what you're seeing is the material underneath the pile of the carpet. It's similar to the cheap Velcro carpet that I hate so much in that you could spend hours and hours on it and it's just never going to look good in most cases. Here's the half bucket of baby formula and dirt that was sucked out of the Avenger today. Gross. Moving to the passenger door now, where there were some stains in the upholstered insert on the door, and rather than using the extractor here, I'm opting for just the APC and steamer for a couple of reasons. One is that these stains aren't going to be difficult to remove, and the second is that it's far less messy to do it this way, especially considering I know I can get the same results. Okay, to finish off the decontamination of the paint I started earlier, I'll use some clay bar and my quick detailer to remove any other surface bonded contaminants on the paint. Of course, the iron remover is just one step of the process, but there can be other stuff bonded to the paint still, like road tar, that needs to be removed, so I'll go panel by panel and ensure the paint is perfectly clean and ready for some of my ceramic spray coating. Second last step here is to clean the glass, and I always make sure to roll down the windows a little bit to get that top edge of the glass, which is an area that if you miss, it is guaranteed the owner's going to see it when they roll through the drive-thru for their coffee the next morning. So, operating on a principle that if I can see it, so can they, I'll make sure everything is perfect.
All right guys, well, a relatively quick 9 hours later, and this Avenger is all cleaned up and looking sweet. Now, if you guys enjoyed the transformation, please make sure you smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And please do me a favor and go check out my other channel, The Yard Geek. There is a brand new video over there, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Anyways, as always guys, enjoy the guitar outro, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.